Hey guys, I'm back with another video. Today we are going to be learning how to sew a handmade wig from scratch featuring 4 of our raw Indonesian wavy bundles in a 5x5 version closure. If you hear barking in the background, that's my little Shih Tzu. She does not know how to be quiet. So to make your wig, you will need bundles, a closure, and thread. I'm using polyester. You'll also need curved needles. The only thing that I did not show in this video was how I put the cap onto my canvas head. But if you guys need a video of that, I will make a video for that. Now, I'm using a 23.5 canvas head and I'm using a large cap. I will put a link below of where I get these caps from. They come from Amazon. I love them so much. Yes, you can make wigs with dome caps. I don't use dome caps. This is what I use. This is how I make my units. And like I said, I will leave a link below on where to get these units from. Starting off, you're going to take your thread and you're going to put it through the hole of the needle. You're going to bring it all the way through to meet up to the other end of the thread. And once you have both ends of the thread together, you're going to tie it into a knot. This video is an hour and some change long. I tried my hardest not to do any edits because I wanted y'all to really see the entire process of how I make wigs. So I tried my best to not edit it. It was like 80 minutes long, so I took out as much as I could, but still wanted y'all to see the entire process. Now, after you tie your knot, you do want to cut off any excess thread so that you won't have any thread lingering around once you sew your tracks in. And now we're going to placement of the closure. Now, when you do your placement of the closure, you don't want to bring the closure up too far from the cap. You just want to make sure you have, I don't even want to say an inch, just a little space. Like, you don't want to line it up exactly where the cap ends. You don't want to do that because then it might not fit on your head or your customer's head the right way. So you want to bring it up just a tad bit. I'm also using T-pins. I forgot to mention that when I first started the video, you will need T-pins for this as well. So I'm going to T-pin the front part of the closure down. And as you can see, that little space that's right there, that's what you need. So after I T-pin the front down, I'm going to go to the back and I'm going to T-pin the back down as well. You want to try not to necessarily pull on the closure. You just want to lay it. Lay it down, T-pin it, and make sure that everything is flat. How it should look after you T-pin the closure down. You see that little space in the front. If you need help, you can use the guidelines on the canvas head to help you pin down the closure to make sure that it's straight and centered. So now that I have my closure T-pin down, I'm going to take my paint marker and I'm just going to make lines on my cap. I did go through and I kind of measured out the tracks before I started to make my lines, so I knew how far apart I wanted to make my lines. This is totally up to you. Like I said, I use this pen to help me so that I don't run out of hair, because in the past I have sewed my tracks too close together and then I end up running out of hair. So this just helps me keep track of what I'm doing, basically. And it also helps me use all of the hair because, like I said, my customer paid for 4 bundles. So I wanted to make sure that we fit everything into the hair, into the wig. And I'm not sure if I told y'all this, but my shop is a shed that is on the property of my house. So right here, was looking out the window, saying hey to my cousin because she lives right next door to me. So yeah, that's what I was doing right there. Now, if you do use the paint marker, I will say don't space the lines out too far apart, maybe like 2 inches apart from each other. Or like I said, you can go through with the bundles first and kind of just like measure it out on the cap to see how far apart you need to make the lines. But don't space them out too far apart, okay? We wanna use all the hair, but we wanna make sure that we don't put the tracks too close together so that we run out of hair, because that's horrible. Y'all don't want to do that. Don't make the same mistakes that I've made in the past, okay? And then also keep in mind that this is just a guide. The tracks do not have to line up perfectly with these lines. It's literally just a guide. Whether you use the marker or not, the process will still be the same. Okay, so to start off, we're going to take the needle. We're going to take it through the base of the closure and then through the cap as well. So you're going through the closure and through the cap. And then we're going to pull the needle all the way through. Once you pull the needle all the way through, we're going to go back through that same seam, through the closure and through the cap. But this time, it's going to form a loop. Once you pull the thread through that loop, you want to make sure that you stay inside of the loop. Do not go outside of the loop. Stay inside of the loop, and we're going to take the needle and we're going to wrap the thread around 2 times. This is going to form a knot, okay? Now, we're going to use this same method to sew down the entire closure, and we're also going to use this to sew down our track. So if you need to pause the video and go back to listen to how I'm telling you to do it, or to see how I'm telling you to do that, because it is important, okay? So after you form your first knot, we're going to go back through the base of the closure again, back through the cap. We're going to go inside of the loop. Do not go outside of the loop, because you will not be able to form a knot. You don't want to do that, what I'm showing you. Don't do that. You want to make sure that you stay inside of the loop. So we're going to go back through the loop again. We're going to take the thread, put it around the needle 2 times, pull it through, and then we will form a second knot. And we're going to do this technique around the entire base of the closure. Now, like I said, if you need to pause the video and go back and see how I did it the first time, do that, because you're going to use this technique to sew down the entire closure. And I do always start at the back. I'll start in the middle, either from the left or the right. If I start to the left, I'm going to go and I'm going to sew the entire left side of the closure, and then I'll go back and I'll sew down the entire right side of the closure. And when you're doing this, the thread doesn't have to be right on top of each other. Don't sew really close together, but you don't want to space it out too much either. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Don't sew right on top of each other, because you don't want it to be lumpy. You want to give it enough space, but not too much space, if that makes sense. And anytime that I'm not talking throughout the video, it's because I'm just letting y'all watch the video, okay? This will be a silent video. If I have something that I need to explain, I will come on camera. Well, not camera, but y'all know. Y'all will hear my voice through the speaker. I'll explain. If I don't have anything to explain, it will be silent. And we are sewing all the way down. So wherever the cap stops, that's where we're going to stop sewing. And then I did not record myself doing the other side of the closure, but if you guys need a video on that, I don't mind showing you guys how to sew down the whole closure. Like I said, this was like an 80-minute video. I tried not to clip too much, but I didn't want to make it too long either. So we're basically going to do the exact same thing that we did on this side to the other side. Now the fun part begins. Okay, this is bundle number 1. I did end up using all 4 bundles in this video, which was great because I do not like to waste hair. So to start off, I went ahead, I unraveled my bundles, and now we're going to T-pin them down onto the lines. When you T-pin your tracks down on the cap, you want to make sure that they're kind of staggered. Do not put your bundles right on top of each other because the wig is going to come out very lumpy. So you want to make sure that they're together close enough, but not on top of each other. Just staggered, one right below the other. And then I'm going to use my T-pins to just basically trace the line that I made onto the wig. And I do cut the tracks. This is optional. If you don't want to cut the tracks, you don't have to. But I cut the tracks. I feel like it makes for a more seamless wig. No lumps, no bumps. Okay, so yes, I cut the tracks. So to start off, the same thing that we did with our closure, we're going to take our needle. We're going to take it through the hair and through the cap. Pull it all the way through. And then we're going to go back in through that same seam. And we're going to take the needle, put it through the hair, through the cap, bring it through the loop, wrap it around 2 times and form a knot. Now, I did go back through that same seam and I made another knot just to have a secure foundation for the tracks because I want everything to be sturdy. I don't want anything to come loose. And then I'm going to just go down the line of the tracks and I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to go through the hair, go through the cap, make my 2 circles around my needle, and then make a knot. And I'm just going to keep repeating that same pattern. Now, I do want you guys to understand that when you're sewing the tracks, however big you make your spaces, you want to stick to that. You want to be consistent, okay? My spaces that I'm sewing when I'm doing the tracks are not that far apart, but they're not that close together either. So however you start it, that's how you want to make sure that you consistently do it throughout the wig. So this is how everything looks after I get done sewing on my first line. Very tight, very sturdy. If you do this for the first time and it's loose, it's okay. Practice makes perfect. The more you do it, the better you will become at it. So don't give yourself a hard time. Now we're going to move on to our second line. Remember to stagger your tracks, pin them down, and we're going to use the same sewing method that we did with the first line. I know that somebody probably will ask this in the comments because everybody makes wigs different. I do not do the ear to ear thing measuring, or like the nape to nape, forehead to nape. I don't do that. I only do the circumference. That's how I get my customer's head size. Like I said, this was a 23.5 canvas head that I'm making this wig on, so her cap is a large cap. If you do want to do all of the measurements, it's not hard. I'm pretty sure there probably is like a video on YouTube for that, but the caps that I have already come size, so that's why I only do the circumference. Just in case anybody was wondering about that. So this is what we have left from our last bundle, the fourth bundle. Like I said, I do not like to waste hair, so I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna start pinning my last pieces of tracks down. This one that I'm pinning down now is not double, it's just one single track. I'm gonna pin it around and then sew it the same as I've been doing all of the other tracks. So right here, I wish I would have zoomed in, but I just want you guys to know that I did not go all the way to the closure. Right here, I'm still sewing on the cap, and then the next track that we pin down, that is going to be attached to the closure. Okay, so this is our last track. Now we're going to take this track and we're going all the way to the closure. Okay, so you want to pin it right up on the closure. We're going to take this track through the closure and through the cap all the way around. So at this point, I have pieces left. So like I said, I don't like to waste hair. I took the last piece that I had, I connected it with the other piece, and I made a whole track. And I connected that to the closure as well. And then we're just going to sew it all the way around. So we're going to go through the hair, through the cap, and then through the closure. And the closure have seams on them. You want to make sure that, I think I said this earlier, that you stay on the seam of the closure. Don't go all the way into the lace of the closure. So yeah, we're going to take it through the hair, through the cap, and through the seam of the closure. Take it through, make our knot, and then we're going to do that all the way around. Now, it normally takes me about 20 to 30 minutes if I'm doing it nonstop. About 20 minutes to sew in each bundle. When I first made my first hand-sewn wig, y'all, it took me literally all freaking day. Like, it sun up to sundown, it took me to make that closure. But now that I've been doing this for like almost 10 years. I started making wigs back in like 2016, I want to say, or 17, I think is when I made my first wig. This was before I even started my business. It took me all day to make that wig. So if you do try this and it's your first time and you're slow at it, it's okay. Once you do it a couple of times, you'll get like way faster. And y'all, I didn't even notice until after I made the video that I cut myself. I don't know if I did it with the scissors or with the needle. So that's what's on my thumb, but it's not dripping blood or anything. It was just a scratch that had dried, but that's what that is on my thumb. I don't even know how I did it. Didn't even realize it was there until after the entire video was made. And this is how the wig looks after everything is done. I did take it off of the mannequin head. Off of the canvas head. And I had to cut the excess cap off. I thought I recorded that part, but I didn't. Sorry. But this is how everything looks after it's all finished. This is how the inside looks. It's very neat. I also did sew a comb onto it as well. If you guys want me to show you how to do that, I will. And these caps have straps in them that already come attached, which is one of the reasons why I love them so much. So yeah, I hope you guys try this for yourself, or if you want to make it for somebody else, let me know how it turns out. And this is how the wig look after I styled it. This is it on my head. It turned out really, really pretty. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and let me know what you think about the video.